What's going on, guys? Coach Matt and YouGoProBaseball.com. I'm here with Doug Bernier. You might recognize him from Pro Baseball Insider on YouTube, as well as from TV, the major leagues. He was a major league middle infielder, and he had a fielding percentage of 1,000 in the major leagues. So when we're talking about fielding, this is the guy you want to listen to. And we're going to talk about how to field a backhand. You got some tips for us?
I do, yeah. I have a couple things. First, a lot of infielders shy away from their backhand. They want to use the routine fielding position whenever they can, but do you know what? Being able to use your backhand and to be confident in it makes you such a better infielder. So work on the backhand. I can't stress that enough. I know especially there's a ground ball that, you know, when it's hit to the side, I see a lot of infielders want to get around and field the ball on the run and then try to make a throw on the run. That is a really difficult play. But when that ball can come over here and you can break down, use that backhand and make a strong, accurate throw, it's going to make playing the infield a whole lot easier. So I got two tips for you that are going to make fielding the backhand a whole lot easier. So the first one is make sure the glove is open to the baseball. Now, you might think that's a really easy and kind of generic tip, but I would say I work with a lot of young infielders. I would say probably about 80% of guys don't actually open their glove to the baseball. So what do I mean by that? So the ball's coming this way from the camera towards me and it's along this path, right? A lot of times my glove is facing this way. So as you can tell, my glove is facing the direction over here. I want to turn my glove so it's facing the ball. A couple ways to think about it. Think about taking this elbow and have it facing the ball. When this happens, when I have my elbow facing the ball, my glove is opened up, right? Another way I like to think, if I take the glove off, I want to field the ball between my pointer finger and my thumb. So if I'm this way, I'm working through, now I got my glove open to the baseball. So that is tip number one, open that glove to the ball. Number two, work underneath the ball. Work from down to up. For whatever the reason, a lot of times infielders, when they're working on their backhand, they're up high and then they stab down at the ball. Get low. The lower your eyes can be, the closer that your eyes can be on the level of the baseball, the easier it's going to be to read the hops. And you just want to be able to work underneath the baseball. So as you're approaching this ball, get low and then work up through the baseball. It's going to make fielding it a lot easier. So remember to have your elbow pointed at the ball, which will result in having the glove being more open to the ball, and also work underneath the baseball. It's going to make it a whole lot easier.
That's good stuff. What about the play where you can't stop? Like you have too much momentum going to your throwing arm side.
Yes.
And you can't stop. You can't get this traditional backhand, right, where you got to keep going, whether it be running. How do you transition or stop your energy and make that throw? Are you doing that jump and throw? Are you trying to slide into it? Are you trying? What were you trying to do?
Okay, so what I'm trying to do is when I'm not able to stop, I actually got used to throwing on the run. So I need to create an angle. I don't want to be going straight across. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get, even if it's just a small little angle, almost if I'm playing shortstop, feel like I'm kind of running a little bit towards the third base bag. So I'm just cutting the angle a little bit. That at least gives me a better angle throwing to first when I'm on the run. Some people like to jump throw. I personally didn't. For some reason, I don't know if it's my arm wasn't strong enough to make it across the infield, but when I would jump throw, I didn't have a whole lot of velocity on the throw. So I would field the ball on the run and I would just continue running, and then from here I would just throw the ball across my body that way over to first base. And I was able to do it that way. But I think it was important to create some sort of angle and not just be flat across the infield. The angle could be back if needed. The angle could be shallow if needed. But when I had at least a little bit of an angle going either direction, it was much easier for me to make that throw to first base.
That's awesome. I never heard that before, but it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
What about a ball that stretches you out even further, so now you've got to lay out for it? In fact, I saw a video on YouTube of you in the big leagues dive into your backhand, get up, and make that throw. What is that? Just instinctual? Is there any technique in that, or did you work on that?
Well, I actually do work on that. I would. There's times where, I mean, I'm not diving a whole lot in practice or anything like that. I think especially as I get older, I'm trying to, you know, not tear up my body. But what I would do is I would get on the outfield grass and I would start in a laid out position. I'd have a ball in my glove and I would just be laying on my stomach, and then I would jump up as quick as I could and try to make throws to first base. Just get used to what that is like. Can I make the throw all the way across in the air, or do I have to long hop it over to first base? Just get used to my field, get used to my arm and what plays I can make, or maybe adjustments of things I need to make if my arm isn't strong enough.
That's funny you say that, because that's what caught my eye when I saw that video, was how quick you got up from the dive to on your feet to throwing. It was like boom, boom. And that's what I was amazed at mostly. Were you fast? Were you fast? Did you have a fast 60?
My 60 actually wasn't great. I think my fastest 60 was a 6.9. So I was not like a fast guy by any means. But I've always been fairly quick. You know, I've been fairly quick. I get to top speed, I think, pretty quick. My top speed isn't a great top speed. But like, you know, I'm pretty quick around the bases. I could always run decent enough.
With that being said, let's talk a little bit about range.
Yes.
So you obviously had good range in the infield. Range is just how much ground you can cover in the infield.
Right.
Did you do anything to work on that, like first step, quick first step, or anything like that?
Yes, I did. A big thing for me during batting practice, after you take your ground balls and you get your work in, I would sit back here and I wouldn't just go in the outfield and just talk with my buddies about the movie we watched the night before. I would sit there and get some good work in. And what I would do is I wouldn't overexert myself and run like a crazy person every single ball that's put in play, but I would try to read the swings of the hitter. And I would watch, and I would get in a ready position, and I would just watch the swing and see over time if I could actually see where the ball was going to go before it was hit. And it's funny, like at first I wasn't able to do it. It took me quite a bit of time. It took me like months and months, but I noticed that as I watched the hitter more and more, that I could start to see where the ball was going to go before it was actually hit. And that was huge for me to try to gain any sort of little advantage I could to, you know, just to kind of kickstart my range and to be able to move left and right. And so to me, that was a really big thing. And it's funny because if you mess up in batting practice, like I'm sitting there and I think the ball's going to go left, but he hits it right, who cares, right? We're trying to get better and work on things. So it doesn't really matter. But that was being able to read swings, being able to try to, I guess, just get moving earlier was really helpful for me.
And I can imagine over time you just get better, and it's almost like you're a psychic at where they're going to hit it. Maybe
right.
It may be something that you don't even notice yourself with their hips or something, but just
right.
paying attention to it, that over time you just get better and better at it. Right.
Right. And another thing you can do too is look at the catcher. Know what the pitcher is trying to do, what pitch he is trying to execute. You know that if he's throwing, you know, if he's kind of going to try to drop in a curveball and a right-hander's hitting, that good chance that the hitter's going to pull the ball. Or maybe he's trying to throw a fastball low and away, and you can expect something else. So a lot of those little things go into kind of your anticipation when it comes to range.
That's a great point. So two things I want to mention on that. One is if you can anticipate where he's going to hit it or pay attention to the catcher, you could even creep over. So now you're taking away more of those backhands. You can now get around some of those balls.
Yeah.
Also, if you're working on your range and your first step and being faster, then you're taking more of those away too. So the better you can be at those two things, the less backhands you have to make. You can get around those balls better.
Make sure you are subtle though. So like if you see that, you know, your pitcher's throwing a curveball, you don't want to look in and then just start moving to your right. You want to be subtle with it. So you can kind of see it, give it a little, you know, kind of give it a little just nonchalant move to your right a little bit. And then as you're getting set, you can kind of move over a little bit if you want, like that. Just be subtle, disguise it, because you don't want to be moving, you know, real blatantly left and right as the pitch is coming. And also, you got to know what your pitcher is capable of. If he's trying to throw fastball low and away, but every time he's missing in and he's not really hitting any spots, then you're not going to be able to, you know, you might not be able to trust it quite as much because you don't know where he's going to throw it. So it also depends on the pitcher as well.
Those are great points. Obviously, you don't want to walk over early because you're going to be giving it up to the hitter. He's
Right,
going to know.
The hitter might see that after a while, or the coach, because coaches are really paying attention too. So you gotta not only you gotta kind of hide it from the coaches as well. They're sneaky.
I did some videos with Fernando Cortez. He was a major league middle infielder as well, and he was saying he actually used to do that, blatantly move over, but on different pitches to mess with them. So if it was maybe a lefty up and they were throwing something off speed, he would come over this way to bait them and then creep back over as the pitch was coming.
I love it.
You know, playing mind games.
It's funny. There's a lot of that. Like as you kind of like talk to different guys, there's a lot of mind games going on, and it's kind of fun.
Baseball should be fun.
Exactly, it is. And keep it fun. Like it's hard. Baseball is hard, and don't let anyone tell you different. Like baseball is tough, but enjoy it. Enjoy it for what it is.
Well, thank you, Doug, for coming on, guys. If you like some of this information, he's got a bunch more on Pro Baseball Insider, his YouTube channel. He's also got a bunch of great information in his newsletter. I'll leave the link down below where you can sign up for that. So go ahead and subscribe to Pro Baseball Insider, subscribe to YouGoProBaseball, and we will see you guys in the next video. If you have any questions, drop them down below. We'll be happy to help answer them for you.
Yep.
Thanks, guys.
See you guys.